Life Unrehearsed on CJAD 800. Brought to you by Marco Vendramini of IG Private Wealth Management. MarcoVendramini.com.
Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. My name is Matt Del Vecchio, specializing in life transitions, downsizing in the senior living industry.
And I'm Corey Sirota, clinical social worker and psychotherapist specializing in grief and loss. We are continuing to spread some positivity on our Feel Good show as we share with you and interview some of the unsung heroes of the community who are making such a difference and helping us navigate through this pandemic. I want to put another shout out for it. We've gotten some great texts, but please send additional texts. If you know someone who deserves a shout out, text us at 514-800. We would love to acknowledge them. If we don't get to them at them today, we will continue doing shout outs on subsequent shows because they all deserve it so well.
Yeah, such as, politicians can get a bad name, but you know what? There's two gentlemen that we want to do a shout out to, two M&As. Enrico Ciccone, some of you know him from the NHL. He is one of the M&As putting in almost full-time work at a CHSLD in Lachine, right in the fire, literally. Good on Enrico. And likewise, Monsef Daraji, he's doing the same thing. He's over at the CHSLD Heron. These guys are still doing, Corey, their M&A jobs, and Monsef is donating any of his pay that he's getting for this additional work to the Lakeshore General Hospital Fund. So good on our local M&As for really talk about unsung heroes.
There's also a grassroots group of volunteers in Côte Saint-Luc. They're processing more than 200 orders a week for seniors who are supposed to be sheltering in place, right? So there are about 200 of them. The whole thing was put together by David Lisbon, City Councillor Mitch Kujavsky, and his sister Pam and Melissa Margulies. And even the owner of the IGA in Côte Saint-Luc is allowing people to come in, volunteers, into the store and shop early before it opens, and then assemble the orders and team up to deliver these orders to people who cannot get it.
Just
unbelievable.
Thank you. All right. Looking forward to talking to Joanne, Corey, for a while here. Joanne Buckingello is an ICU nurse at Lakeshore General Hospital. She is doing some incredible work along with the many nurses and frontline workers. Joanne, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on the air here. Please describe to us your environment. I understand at Lakeshore, the ICU section is no longer the ICU of old. So what is the layout?
So we're now running 3 ICU units. Our main one, we kept our 15 beds open for trying to keep non-COVID patients. We have a sub-area downstairs, which is 7 to 8 beds, which is full of ventilated COVID patients. And then we have a kind of a step-down area for patients that are not able to go to the wards. So we've gone from about 15 to 30 beds running since this all began.
Mm.
And are there presently COVID cases in the ICU?
Yes, there is. Yes, we run around 10 all the time.
So you've got cases in the ICU. What a lot of people don't realize, though, you've got quite a bit more in the hospital that you have to manage, correct?
Yes, the regular floors also are full, and the emergency, and they're moving around the hospital all the time from one area to the other.
I can't imagine. Now, in the ICU where you are working, Joanne, obviously this is the heaviest level of care. Can you describe some of the, the treatment protocol? We hear about ventilators. What is typical treatment in the ICU these days?
Well, most of them are on ventilators when they come to us, so they involve a lot of respiratory care. They're quite sedated and immobilized, so they require a lot of skin care and turning and positioning, and they are not talking or moving, and their families are not allowed to be with us at all, so we have to deal with that as well.
Joanne, you are incredible. You are I'm in awe. I know the harsh reality. We hear and we see the numbers. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are surviving too, but you're seeing people that are dying.
Yes,
how are you
day.
Yeah, how are you helping the families to say goodbye?
We're having a hard time with it, but we're doing it. We're doing some FaceTiming. Our doctors have been fantastic. They're reaching out to families on a daily basis. We try to set up a set time with families, with nurses or doctors every day to make sure we can get to them on the phone. But it's very difficult. It's difficult for us as it is for them as well.
We're talking with Joanne Buckingello. She's an ICU nurse at Lakeshore General Hospital, talking to us, talk about an unsung hero, Corey. All the frontline workers and nurses and doctors out there, and can't imagine what families must be going through who can't see their loved one. And God bless you, nurses, just trying to even do FaceTimes. I think, Joanne, you were even saying on their own phones, trying to at least say some goodbyes in some form of dignity. It must take a real toll on the morale of the employees and the nurses.
It's exhausting on another front, that's for sure. And we do go through every emotion on a daily basis. We try to laugh a little bit when we can. We definitely cry a lot. We support each other. The Lakeshore team is fantastic, right through the building, from the emergency right up to us. We've become a family because we're seeing each other more than we're seeing our own families right now, and coming in and out. And but we definitely go through the whole realm of emotions on a daily basis.
There's no question. Like as most of our listeners know, I'm a grief counselor, and to me, this is a whole pandemic of grief that we're all experiencing in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the PPEs, the personal protective equipment.
Yes.
How's that? How are you managing?
Well, what you see is really true. We do have days that we don't have much. We wait for suppliers, we share, we prioritize, but it is always a going concern. We're changing, we're wearing scrubs. Everybody has to be fitted for a special mask, and we're making do. We have to make sure we're safe, our families are safe, our patients are safe, and keep our environment safe as well at all times.
That's Joanne Buckingello, ICU nurse. Joanne, I know you've been at Lakeshore General. I believe it's for 12 years in ICU. Throw in another 25 years at the Montreal Children's ICU. You are one of our unsung heroes, and we want to thank you on behalf of all Montrealers.
Thank you for having me. I tell you, my whole group are heroes. Like, everybody's doing their part, that's for sure. It goes full circle.
Well, thank you, and continued strength and courage to you and your team.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great show.
All right, Joanne, thank you. We're getting texts coming in, Corey, left and right. Speaking of healthcare system, we just a quick shout out to the admin staff at Surgical Clinic North at the MUHC Glen site. That text just came in on the text board at 514-800. So there's a shout out to you.
I want to give a shout out to Karen Ettingen. She's a caterer. She's rolled up her sleeves and she's getting 300 sandwiches a week made for those in need. And she's actually inspired many others to help. I believe our friend and colleague Susan Schwartz wrote a great article about Karen the other day. That's how I learned about that one.
Yeah, no, keep those texts coming in. We are going to head out for a quick traffic update. Now, when we come back, Corey, I never would have thought about it, wearing masks for a prolonged use of time, especially for our frontline workers who are doing 8-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. You won't believe the damage that gets done to the back of their ears. It makes sense. It just digs and digs. And could you imagine having to put it on the very next day? Well, we're going to be talking to an incredible woman. She's found a solution to this issue, and we're going to hear all the details and how many frontline workers are thanking her and her team of mask makers. But first, let's head to the CJD Traffic Center from Lauren Glazer.
Live Fun Rehearsed on CJAD 800. Brought to you by Marco Vendramini of IG Private Wealth Management. MarcoVendramini.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Corey Sirota with Matt Delvecchio, and we are highlighting some of the special Montrealers that are doing some really good stuff during this pandemic. The unsung heroes.
I'm going distracted because the texts don't stop, Corey. It's that was my cue, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to catch up with these texts. So a couple of real quick ones here. Contactivity Center. They're doing some wonderful work in Westmount for the seniors, quietly shopping for clients, and along those lines, we've got the NDG community groups. This is a group with New Hope Senior Center, Concordia, Provigo, the CIUS, called Grow Grocery Response NDG, buying groceries for seniors in the NDG area, all doing some wonderful work.
Absolutely true. On the line, though, I want to talk with someone else because, as you've heard, we're all very busy. We've been asked to wear masks. If you're wearing them consistently, especially healthcare workers, you know how uncomfortable they are. Right now, we have a woman on the line who's found a solution to that. So I want to welcome Sabrina Marie Stout. She's the creator of Headbands for Healthcare Workers. Welcome to the show, Sabrina.
Thank you for having me.
So this is incredible that you've created this thing. Let's back it up before. What are some of the issues about the masks that have been discovered after prolonged use?
So due to the current pandemic with COVID-19, all healthcare workers or people working in health institutions must wear masks at all times. They could wear them anywhere from 8 hours, or if they're doing a double, 16 hours. So the constant rubbing of the elastics on the masks are constantly rubbing behind the ears, causing pressure. So they're raw, they're bleeding, very tender. And so a lot of my friends and myself being a nurse, that's what I was hearing very often. My ears, and it's just uncomfortable.
So Sabrina, with that experience and hearing some of the challenges, you really came out with an ingenious solution. Can you describe it for us?
So I thought, how can I help these, people, and what can I do to bring them a little bit of comfort? So I went online, I researched a little bit, and I found these headbands with buttons. So the elastics of the masks, instead of hooking onto the ears, they hook onto the buttons, relieving the pressure and discomfort instantly. Oddly enough, I can't sew for my life. I can't even thread a needle if my life counted on it. So I sought out people who were willing to volunteer their time. And right now we currently have 45 ladies of all ages who are sewing like crazy, trying to get out these requests that are just pouring in from healthcare workers all around. So, yeah.
Unbelievable. So who exactly have you sent these to? And I want to know how much this headband costs.
So first I want to give a quick shout out to my admin team that's helping me get this, Tanya, Adrian, Hilda, who have been instrumental in helping to organize all of these requests. And I'm happy to say that as of now, 2,161 healthcare workers have received a Headband for Hero.
Nice.
And it's overwhelming. And this is in like 22 days we've been able to do this. So
over 2,000 of these headbands. Just picture those buttons, and the elastics go over the buttons now, not over the ears. Such a smart idea. So what type of people? You've been all over, haven't you, Sabrina?
Yes, we've been all over the city of Montreal. So we're doing everything from CHSLD. So we've done LaSalle, Beaconsfield, the major hospitals. So CHUM, we sent 300 to the ER, Jewish General, Montreal General, Royal Vic, Montreal Children's, Lakeshore Hospital. We've been everywhere.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I had asked you earlier, how much do they cost?
They are free.
So incredible. How do people find out if you haven't gotten there? But it sounds like you've gotten to a lot of places. But if you haven't gotten somewhere, how does someone find out about that?
So they can check us out on our Facebook page. So that's Operation MTL COVID-19 Virtual Helping Hands. And they can go and see all our posts. So we share, pictures of the healthcare workers with their headbands. They can submit requests via email, and we just roll from there. So they often think they have to pay, and I'm like, no, it's free. And they're like, what? They're just so happy.
Sabrina Marie Stout, thank you so much. You are indeed an unsung hero and putting a lot of smiles on frontline workers' faces. Congratulations on all your hard work and your entire team. And thank you for sharing the love with us here on Life Unrehearsed. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care. And
Okay.
shout out to the front line.
Great. Thank you, Sabrina. Now, speaking of shouting out to the front lines, the texts still keep coming in. Thank you to all the frontline staff at the Jewish Elder Care and Maimonides. That just came in on the text at 514-800. Corey,
There's another one, Resilience Montreal, near Cabot Square at Atwater and St. Catherine. They're helping the homeless population. As we all know, there's a great need. Anyone can deliver sandwiches or cooked meat, cooked ground beef or cooked chicken, for instance. You go to the back door. They have been helping people any day of the week between 9 and 2 p.m. So a shout out goes to Resilience Montreal.
Wonderful. We have a couple more here. Shout out to all the mail people out there making deliveries of our daily mail. And, it's been challenging for them. I see some of them with masks and gloves, and they're touching a lot of things and mailboxes. In fact, our mailman suggested whatever you could do to encourage listeners to wash their mailboxes. Just you never would have thought about it. Go ahead and wash those mailboxes. We also have a shout out to all the veterinarians out there. For those of you who have pets, and Corey, as you know, we've got good old Zola, our Great Dane, and they have been just wonderful. Any last one here, Corey?
Yes.